There are a lot of stories in the news today about teachers who are getting out of the profession. There's just too much stress, too much turmoil. They feel unappreciated. They feel lack of respect. But I'd like today to focus on those teachers who choose to stay in teaching, not because they're making a great income at it, not because it's an easy job, but they choose to stay in that profession because they love it. They have a passion for what they're doing. I have with me today Maria, and she is one such teacher. This is her 10th year of teaching, so I still kind of consider her a new teacher. She's also a new mom. Add that into the scenario, and here she is, still teaching, still looking forward to get back into teaching after her maternity leave is over. So Maria, can you tell us today, what is it about teaching that makes you want to be a teacher?
I think one of the biggest reasons for me now is the creativity that comes with the job. I think that I would get really bored if I was doing something where I would clock in and I would just kind of do the same 5 to 10 things and then go home. I really love the interaction with the students. They're so clever, they're so fun, and I really love being able to spend my time with them. They're amazing. I think a really important thing too to bring up about why I've stayed in education for this long, I have a really supportive school. I have good healthcare. I have a budget for my classroom, so I'm never expected to pay out of pocket for anything. People pretty much respect our time off and our boundaries at home. Of course, there's always somebody who emails you after 5, but for the most part, I have a supportive administration, and I don't have to pay for the things in my own classroom. So my paycheck that I get from the school is really mine. That's important too.
That's very important. Those are all good points. I know, though, there's been some adversity along the way for you, and you still decided to stay in teaching. So could you explain a little bit what it is that you teach, your degrees, and maybe some of that adversity you've come across?
Sure. Yeah, I teach a weird subject, and when I bring it up to people, there's always a little bit of a pause and either a, how do kindergartners do that? Or I wish I had that when I was a kid. So I teach computer science to kindergarten through 4th grade. That's the elementary school level. At my school, we start middle school in 5th grade, which is unusual. What I'm able to do with students starting in kindergarten is really start to build up critical thinking skills and problem solving, as well as some social and emotional strengths. One of the things that I really like about teaching computer science this young is that it really is social and emotional learning in a trench coat. Like, it's just disguised as computer science. Really what students are learning how to do is to solve problems, to break big issues down into smaller ones, to kind of regulate their own emotions, because this is a difficult subject and they are going to be challenged. I think especially with my population, I teach gifted students, and often they're really used to everything being easy the first time. And so when they come up against something that doesn't work the first time, and it's not supposed to work the first time, it's really hard. They don't quite have those skills of like how to address their own frustrations because they just don't have the practice. So I try to see my classroom as a safe space to practice being frustrated. Now, I do have actual education in computer science. I have a master's degree in education with a focus on computer science education. But my background before then was actually classics and philosophy, and I feel like that is actually a major benefit to what I do, because what I'm focused on, like I said, is that social and emotional element. We also do some computer science history. It would be really easy to just kind of focus on, we're going to sit down and we're going to code until we're done. But I think with my classics background and my own interest in history and literature, being able to find good stories for students and also kind of frame this in a way that what we're trying to do is teach students how to become good at regulating their own emotions, but also to have them have that experience of like, I've done something hard. Technology is such a building block. It's really important that people who are living in our society understand the basics of it. Just to understand how things work, to understand how to look at something and tell if it was AI or if it was real. Being able to ask the right questions. I really want the students that I teach to have that foundation when they leave me. So it's, for my goals are less about whether or not they can like create an app, and more about if they're able to ask difficult questions of people in charge, and that they are able to understand that they can do difficult things, and to be able to just kind of break down some of their problems in life, whether it's cleaning their room or dealing with like learning a new language for the first time.
That is really an unusual subject area.
Yeah.
I don't know very many schools that start, computer tech classes with kindergarten. Yeah. I do know that because you're a woman in that field, that's probably been a little difficult sometimes.
Yes. Again, I'm lucky that I have a supportive administration, but there have been a few times where, and I'm sorry to say, but especially dads have been a little bit suspicious of me almost. Like they're not sure that I really know what I'm doing. I actually did have a dad in a parent-teacher conference ask me why I even bother with computer science history, and why his daughter wasn't creating apps yet, and why his kids weren't going to be doing text-based coding or working with Python. And the answer to that is because it's not important.
So how did you overcome that adversity? I mean, those are the things that beat teachers down. You're a professional in your field.
Right.
You want to be treated like a professional. That means you're an expert in that field too. So where is the respect that I deserve for being the expert in my field instead?
Right.
So how do you overcome that adversity?
Over the years, what I've found works best for me is clear communication from the beginning, of just saying, these are our goals of this class. This is what we do. And also to just open it up and say, here's my email if you have any questions. I find often that if I'm able to address that head on in just like 3 to 5 sentences of these are the goals of our class, and then to put the ball in their court, it's less likely that people are going to come with, issues. If you have different goals for your students, here are some excellent after-school coding clubs. Here are some excellent robotics programs that you can do over the summer. This is our goal here. We're not changing our goals, and we've been communicating what those goals are since the beginning.
And it's really important just to always invite those questions from the parents. Yeah. We definitely want parents to understand. And if they have questions, we want them to ask us. Yeah. We don't want them, talking to other people in the community or going first, to administration. You always first should approach a teacher. And I think that's really an important point too.
And more often than not, the response that we get when we're sharing our goals is, that's so great, or that sounds really cool, or how can I support at home?
Good. So, that's great.
Yeah.
And now you've got this beautiful baby daughter, and I understand you have the rest of the year off.
I do.
And that's great. I'm happy for you for that. I'm sure you're still looking forward to getting back to the kids in the classroom, because I heard you telling me, oh, I'm going to miss this year.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss these kids. And that's what makes a great teacher. That kind of passion and that kind of enthusiasm, which is obvious that you have both those qualities. Maria, we need more teachers like you in this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.